Today we are taking a look at the Tracfone Samsung Centura. This is one of two all-new Android devices for the Tracfone service. This is a CDMA device which retails for $129.99. Being CDMA, Tracfone will activate you with either Verizon or Sprint. And the features on this one are a 3.5-inch screen measured diagonally. It has an 800 megahertz processor, and Android version 4.0, which is Ice Cream Sandwich. It's not the newest Android version out there, but it is one of the newer versions to be had. It does come with a 3 megapixel camera. It doesn't have an LED flash, and it doesn't have a front-facing camera. Now you can activate this phone via Tracfone, and you can use any card that Tracfone offers, which is really cool. On these phones, it does come with the triple minutes for life, so whatever card you buy, it triples your talk time, text, and data. Now you can get the Android service essentially on this phone for as little as $7 a month for the 30-minute card. Of course, the data is very limited, so if you're a light user and you just want something new, and you want to get away from the feature phones, which don't have a whole lot of features, then this is a perfect phone. Now you can also go all the way up to the 450-minute card, which gives you 1.2 gigs of data, which is not a bad deal considering the card is $79.99 every 3 months. So for 3 months, it averages out to about $26. So that's a really good deal for an Android phone. With pretty much all the other services, you're looking at $50 for unlimited plans, etc. So if you're a rather light data user, then this would be a perfect Android for you. Okay, now as far as the size of the phone goes, this is a very compact phone. We'll go ahead and put a playing card on it so you get an idea of the size. As you can see, not much bigger than a playing card. You're looking at about, I'd say maybe an inch taller than a playing card, and a little bit narrower. As I mentioned at the start, it's a 3.5-inch screen, which we'll go ahead and measure that for you. So this one's actually a tad bit less than a 3.5, so we have 3.47. The height on this phone is about 4.5 inches. 4.56. The width is about 2.5, a little bit less, 2.42, and the thickness a little bit less than a half at 0.47. Now in the weight, this phone weighs in at about 4.5 ounces, which we'll go ahead and weigh for you. We have 4.55 ounces, so that's pretty typical for a phone like this. So again, overall on the dimensions, on the dimension side of things, very compact phone, fits nicely in the hand, and the curved design fits nicely in the pocket as well. Now, on the design of this phone is pretty typical for an entry-level Android. Primarily, it's got the 3-button layout below the screen. These are capacitive touch, so they're not physical push buttons, and they are backlit, so when you touch them, they do light up. Now again, the design is pretty typical for a phone like this. On the bottom, we have the charge/data port. On the upper left, we have the volume buttons. On the top, we have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so that uses a standard iPod type jack. On the right hand side, we have the lock/power button. This phone does not have a dedicated camera button, which is pretty typical for entry-level Androids like this. Now it is all plastic construction, so there's nothing fancy there. The back is smooth plastic in a gray finish, which is sort of a metallic look, kind of like a brushed steel look, though it is plastic. Now the one cool thing about this phone is that it does have this chrome look bezel around it. Now again, that is plastic, it's not metal, but it does look pretty cool. Now the one drawback on this phone, and I can't guarantee that this is going to be the case for you, but it is the case on my phone, the one that I received. So chances are you'll get one that's just like this, and that's the fact that it does not include an SD card. So if you remove the battery cover and we take a look at this right here, there is no SD card included with this phone, which is interesting because this is the more expensive of the two Androids that are currently available for Tracfone. So if you want additional memory, you'll have to buy an SD card. So now, as I said at the start, this is Android 4.0. So it is Ice Cream Sandwich. Even though it's 800 megahertz, performance is really good on this phone. You get all the standard Android features. And in case you're wondering, because this is a Tracfone, you might be thinking that maybe this phone is crippled in any way, kind of like the old Tracfones used to be if you're an existing Tracfone customer. The good news here is that there's nothing crippled on this phone. Everything works out of the box just as it should, just as it would with say AT&T or any other contract plan out there. Now as far as Android features are concerned, everything here is pretty standard. The main thing to mention are the Google Play Store. So again, if you're an existing Tracfone customer and maybe you've had an old feature phone, then you'll know that you were never able to download any apps unless you got one of those Java phones, in which case you had to bend over backwards to get one of the Java apps to work and to even find them. The cool thing about this one is that you do get the Google Play, which is fully enabled. So you can download any free or paid apps. Now you will need a Google account to do so. And if you want to buy any apps, you will need to give Google your credit card number. Now this phone, as far as app downloads are concerned, that has nothing to do with Tracfone. It's all done through Google. So again, it's fully enabled and you can download any app that you want on this phone. And everything performs pretty well because it's got the newer Android version, and though the processor is only 800 megahertz, everything performs really well. No complaints there. Now as far as other apps and whatnot, you do get Google Maps, which performs nicely on this phone. This is not the fastest phone out there, but Android 4.0 does a really good job of making apps work really nicely, even though the phone isn't the fastest phone out there. So as you can see, I'm scrolling or zooming in and out, and everything is pretty seamless on this phone. There's no hesitation when you go from screen to screen or you zoom in or out. Now do keep in mind that Google Maps does use data, so of course you'll be limited to whatever data plan or whatever card you're buying. Now additional stuff on this phone includes, of course, like I showed you, Google Maps. You do get navigation features. Google Play, as I mentioned, YouTube, of course. Now, again, YouTube is going to be limited to the data that you have, but this phone does have Wi-Fi. So if you have Wi-Fi available, of course, you can use that without incurring any data charges. And YouTube on this phone works great. Again, no hesitation whatsoever when you're scrolling or playing a video. See if we can show you a video here real quick. Now this phone does have the motion sensing, so if you turn it sideways, the screen will adjust accordingly, as you can see there. So again, this is something all new for Tracfone customers. If you're an existing one, you can pretty much throw out any ideas that you have about this phone, because this is nothing like anything you've had for Tracfone previously. All in all, I really like this phone for the Tracfone service. My only problem with it is the fact that it's $129.99, and there's, the performance of it kind of doesn't justify the price, because they also have the ZTE Valet, which is $99.99, I believe, so $30 cheaper. And the Valet does have a faster processor, a newer Android operating system, and performance is pretty much the same as this. It's not quite as nice looking as this phone, but the ZTE Valet does come with a 4 gig card along with it. So if you're thinking about switching to one of these Android phones, then I would steer you more towards the ZTE Valet, because it's a better value for your money.